Chapter 20, The Man with the Master Plan. The city felt like it was on the brink of total devastation, like it had gone from a thriving metropolis to a post-apocalyptic playground for anarchists in a matter of a few hours. But technically it still hadn't. As Michael and Gabe made their journey to Big Dick's gym, they watched gangs on the streets fighting cops and their rivals all over. A building here or there would catch on fire, then police, ambulance, then fire truck sirens, and then nothing. There was no trace of the Iron Monkeys around, but they had already done their work, and they weren't going to try and take on every hood in the streets. Getting ever closer to Big Dick's gym, the two Shamrocks watched the 500-man-strong riot going down in Crown Heights. It was the two biggest gangs in that hood. Two vicious gangs known for their bitter 100-year rivalry. They were the Red Roses and the Black Stallions. They were like the city's Montagues and Capulets, a couple of bitter old Irish and Italian gangs that had been duking it out since before the turn of the century, back when New York was separated among tribes of immigrants, where one group didn't take much liking to the next. But for at least the last 40 or so years, things had seemed to have settled down between the two. Of course, tonight was a different story, and all thanks to the man with the giant white head. Hey, Michael, check it out. That's the big white head right there. Michael looked over at a mom and pop's TV shop and saw a bunch of Puerto Rican kids looking like the Mofongo Wilds breaking in and looting. Michael had a couple of acquaintances that were part of that outfit. They were all mostly small-time heisters, shysters dealing with stolen electronic goods. If you wanted a hi-fi entertainment setup in your living room, these were the niños to go to. A couple of the TVs were on, and it seemed like the mofongos weren't really in a rush, as some sat around watching TV and drinking medallas. So that's the man with the master plan, huh? Asked Michael. Yeah, that's him. Madboy wasn't kidding. The whole screen was filled up with this Irish prick's head, looking like an evil 100-year-old Ted Kennedy. He was shouting like a madman on the TV, and the broadcast looked like some snuff footage, all fizzled out and shaken in its own horror. It's time, New York. It's your time. For all you scum suckers on the streets looking for a way out of the ghetto to make a difference. Yes, I'm calling all you scum suckers. You know why? Because you're all exactly that, and also lowlifes, degenerates, maggots, and thieves. Up until now, none of you have deserved the finer things in life. When the line was drawn by the man, you scum suckers stepped back in pussified fear. Tell yourselves, well, maybe this is all I'm good enough for. Some two-bit hood is all I'll ever be. And you allowed the man and everyone up top to rape you and your mothers and fathers in the ass like some filthy $2 Vietnamese whores. And you know what? Well, I'll tell you what. You deserved it. None of you have hungered enough for it, and that's why I'm calling all you scum suckers filth and garbage. None of you up until now had the balls to cast down your yellow faggoty ass selves and grow a pair. And then he paused for a second. But now, I'll tell ya, none of you had no fucking choice. I'm running this town now. This is my city, and I'm your king. So obey me when I say I want you all to get up now and burn this motherfucking city to the ground. This is the age of rage, and I command you all to burn this motherfucker to the ground. Revel in cathartic joy as you finally, you scum suckers, finally show your worth to your king. Fuck this, let's do it. Let's burn this motherfucking city to the ground. All the fucking racist assholes calling us spics and taking our women. One of the Mofongo Wilds had really gotten inspired by all this and was pacing back and forth now trying to energize up his crew. Fuck the man! And with that, he threw his beer into the TV and that was airing that mysterious man with the giant white head a second ago. Michael didn't know what to make of that strange old man at first. On a lighter note, Michael initially found it all a bit silly. That big white head talking about scum suckers and whatnot. And it seemed more like he was crudely attempting to bust out with some swearing just to lower himself to the level of younger street punks. Michael shook his head and had a small chuckle to that initial impression, but then something else began to settle in. Michael had noticed something else. His eyes had a tail. That big white-headed man, his eyes had a bloody tale to tell. Even though the TV was totaled and that live feed was over with, Michael could still see his eyes up front somehow staring him down. Unflinching, unnerving, and unrelenting eyes that continued to cast their gaze. And then it felt like a whole minute had passed, yet Michael felt like they were still on him. And he grew unnerved by the thought that they were to follow. And forever. Possibly even... What the fuck? Thought Michael, as he had a small chuckle over that whole notion. But then continued to grow more and more unnerved by it, further with the notion that it might be real. At first glance, reality can sometimes seem silly and unreal to the untrained eye. A figure as horrifying as that might just seem simply silly and unreal. But once your mind begins to grasp the truth of it, that it's real and it's out there and has form just as much as you do, that's when the horror of it all really begins to set in, realizing that horror might really be out there, watching you. You no longer feel safe because you feel that it exists and the hell it brings begins to incarnate hell all around you, shattering your perception of reality as it makes it his. Another minute passed. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, stupid Twilight Zone shit. Thought Michael with yet another chuckle, but then became horrified beyond hellish belief as he noticed those eyes were yet again, unflinchingly, unnervingly, and unrelentingly, still glaring right at him. Another pause. Okay, fine, whatever. Thought Michael as he began to stare at his rosary. Do you see now, Michael? Do you see what's going on? This is all bigger than the both of us. Let's just get the fuck out of Dodge. Leave this city, man. I got some friends in Baltimore. Let's go down there and lay low until this all blows over. Actually, fuck this city. I don't think it'll ever be the same after this, cried out Gabe, breaking Michael from his train of thought. Michael shook his head and glared at Gabe, all disappointed like. If you don't want to come with me, sad boy, you can go. I know my way there, said Michael with a sigh. Michael, you know what? Fuck you, man. Seriously, I've just met you again after all these years and, hey man, if you're afraid, I understand. It's not like I've ever really expect you to come this far. Not chicken out when shit really starts hitting. Fuck you! And with that, sad boy rushed in and sacked Michael to the ground, then started popping him in the face. And as pissed off as Madboy got, he couldn't switch this around and go on in his own offensive. Michael allowed Sad Boy to pop him some, and the pissed off Armenian really did know how to bring the pain. Michael took it and kept some defenses up so not to take too much damage. But once Sad Boy realized that Michael wasn't even trying, he got up and looked at him in disgust, as Michael just waited to see what his next reaction would be. Fine, Madboy, you're on your own. I ain't afraid. I just ain't a fucking retard looking to get myself killed. You could have come to me first. You could have come to the Tropic of Cancer, but you wanted that confrontation. You wanted to get to Red Boy through Stumpy and his goons, knowing that that place was swarming with gang members that would have liked to have seen you dead and gone a long time ago. You're reckless, Michael, too reckless. Go do what you have to do. Best of luck. Really mean it when I say best of luck, because I know you're definitely going to need it with the shit you're setting yourself up for this time. I might be some scum-sucking loser, but I have my own sense of worth. And I don't need you or that fat-headed fucker on TV to tell me different. You, that fat-headed whitehead man, this city and the coming age of rage shit are made for each other. Gabe then left.